What is up, everyone? What is up? What is up? Happy Monday. It's Monday. Nobody ever really likes Mondays because they're not fun, like embedded systems. What's up, everybody? People are going to probably scroll through the chat, scroll through their FYP, see me popping up on some of the vertical feeds and be like, what the hell is he? Oh, and then read the hat. There are going to be some people that don't work in tech that are probably going to see this and probably think the wrong thing. Anywho, slowly rebuilding the lab. I haven't taken the laptops or mini PCs out of their little desiccant box that I built, but I did get some hardware in. Now, funnily enough, most of this hardware I ordered before the storm happened. Need to get a new desk. That's a lower priority. Structurally, it's sound, but the drawers are F. So I got myself. These are just the data sheets for them. I should probably show them anyway. So these are antennas, log periodic antennas. So they're designed to be directional and also cover a very, very wide range. So as you can see, they're PCB ones. So on one side, you have an SMA connector. And the bigger your antenna is, the lower the frequencies you can get. So this one does 400 to 1,000 megahertz. And this one over here, probably the one I'm going to mostly use, which is 850 to 6,500 megahertz. Those will be useful in fox hunting. And then these were the data sheets for them, so you can understand the technical specifications of it, as well as how well the antennas are going to do at a certain frequency. So this is their standing wave ratio chart, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like it is that? Looks like signal to noise, but meh. Maybe. I don't know. I usually mark mine a little bit differently so they're clearer on my vector network analyzer. But anyway, you got the spec sheets for both here. So this is the spec sheet for the larger one, and you can see that one's got a lot smoother of a chart. I will say that. Yeah, I think it was like a standing wave ratio chart. I could be mistaken. Yeah, and then just a list of all their PCB antennas that I got from this guy. Is all your stuff okay? Most of it's F, to be honest. I lost all of my spare hardware. My radio... So my radio and malware lab that I've been working on and planning for the past few months kind of got boned. Not kind of. They did get boned. Because there was going to be a physically isolated network from the rest of my network with a honeypot for everything to go after it. And a lot of that spare hardware is gone, it seems. And then I have to check out the laptops and everything. Most of them are probably going to be e-waste that'll just be ending up dropping off somewhere. It's not a MAGA hat. It's a Make Embedded Systems Fun Again hat. And I have it right next to my Screw the Data Economy hat. I had a flood through my house. But yeah, so I got this antenna, some connectors for an idea I have on the U console I saw from somebody else on Instagram. This came in the Hack RF Pro, but without my ham radio laptop that I was doing all the radio work on, it's kind of useless at the moment, so I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, I could use another laptop, but I had that all spec'd out and everything for radio to be able to use the GPS inside the cell modem to plot things and yada yada yada. That Tough Book was perfect. Anyway, yeah, so got this. It's a software-defined radio that goes from, I think they said 100 kilohertz to 7.1 gigahertz you can tune it to. But I think it's functional around 6 gigahertz. So, okay, 100 kilohertz to 6 gigahertz operating frequency, tunable to 0 hertz to 7.1 gigahertz. And it's a half duplex transceiver. Ooh. When I get a laptop fit situation figured out, this is going to be really great for ham radio. I can do HF radio shit with this. This will be fun. A Mezga hat. Were you able to recover anything after they've dried? They're still drying. I'm still keeping them in the desiccant boxes for at least another day. And then I'll just wish for the best tomorrow. I need to go get adapters though. I realized that because a lot of the power adapters got flooded, and those are definitely so yeah.
Michi 212 is now chilling in the lab.
But yeah, so I got the Hack RF Pro. Then I got this antenna here. Let me see, which antenna is this one that I picked up here? Because I got different antennas for different reasons. What is your upper... Oh, there's several antennas in here. So, there's a telescopic antenna, so that can do a wide range. Yeah, that looks kind of similar to the other ones I have, so I want to say that's going to top around like 1.7 gigahertz probably. Magnetic stand for it, which I think was the main reason I got it. And then it has these two little stubby antennas. Oh, it's the new Elect kit. So this is the Rattlesnake. They're both Rattlesnakes, M5 and M6. I'll need to look at the operating frequencies for them. But yeah, all this stuff I bought before the flood, being like, hey, yeah, I got the ham radio laptop set up. It'll be fun to actually, go use the Tough Book and go outside and, start doing some hikes and do some content with HF radio and... Fuck! Hold up. There we go. Alright, let's see what else I got in here. Because I know that was not it. Some adapters, a Balun. Hold up. I got a few things. I'm picking up those damn adapters. I don't need the adapters. Okay, so that's a base, a wideband antenna, BNC connectors, here we are, the mother jab, and this guy. Alright. Dropping antennas. Could be worse. Could be the soap. Alright, anyway. So, I got all these antennas and accessories. Oh yeah, this is all the DEF CON 34 and B-side stocks. I have to dump that to my drive too. Okay, yeah, we got this guy, which seems like a more directional 700 to 5800 megahertz antenna. I'm not sure what the performance is across the band for all these, but a good wideband antenna is always handy, and while these log periodics are great too, don't get me wrong, I mean, they're a bit of a, chonker. We've got, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there's a ham it up device that I'm supposed to have in here. Anyway, magnetic stand for antennas. And here's a balun that'll let us connect a bunch of different wires. I think this is a 9-to-1. Another telescopic SDR antenna. Looks the same exact one as the U console there, which is 100 kilohertz to 1.74 gigahertz. But then I got this guy. I saw a red hat and white text and got scared, then I got to read it. Yep, that's the point of why I'm doing it. Make embedded systems fun again. We are not of the other red hat variety, shall we say. Anyway, this is a really nice antenna here. This is going to be for near-field communications, basically. The idea here is I want to get up close and personal with the device and figure out if it's transmitting anything, even at a low frequency or low power. Because, you can do, you can send quite a bit of data over long distances, over low frequency with, very little power. It shocks people when I say, dude, you get a few watts, you can go a few states. And, when I say a few, I mean, you don't need that much. So this guy is going to be great because I have some inspections on devices that we were going to dig into. Is it worth working at a data center if you want to get started in IT? Look, we all start somewhere, man. We can't always pick the exact moments how or why we will start in our respective careers. Oh, here's what I was thinking of, the ham it up. But you're not going to be at that job forever, so just take the job for now. If it breaks into the IT industry, you can always leave within a few months to a year. No, nothing says that you have to stay at that company. I think one of the big mistakes that a lot of people have is they think that when they get at their job that they have to stay at that job. But just think of it as it's your entry. Maybe the company treats you right and you want to stay. Maybe it helps you just get your entry into the field and then you're like, you know what? I don't see them valuing me as much as I should be valued, so I'm going to go elsewhere. But it's think about it this way. How many people go to McDonald's and think McDonald's is going to be their career? They're going to work at McDonald's their entire life. Very few people. Not saying they don't exist, but I'm saying very few people. But there's a lot of people that start out with McDonald's as a first job or, an early job in, the beginnings of their career. They get their basics in, they get some experience, and then from there they get to go on to more successful fields. Or, insert other random job here. I did retail, okay? I did retail IT as well. I actually literally worked at a Radio Shack. I am officially old enough to say my first job working for a company was a Radio Shack. But yeah, I got the Ham It Up as well. If I recall, this thing allows me to upconvert some signals. So that way I can use this on certain SDRs with HF radio a little bit better. But I think that's how it is. I could be wrong. I low-key miss Radio Shack. Radio Shack was good as a kid, but when I was working there, it was towards the beginning of the end when they were forcing us to focus more on cell phones. And I kept telling management and upper management and the time I got the ear of somebody, I was like, you realize you're killing your own company working on these phones, because you realize every Radio Shack's around 3 to 5 different cell phone stores within half a mile to a mile. And there's nothing that makes us that different. The thing that made us different was the electronic components that you keep dwindling, and all the hobby accessories and all of that everyone keeps coming in for. And I kept saying, hey, we don't carry that anymore. Go to Micro Center. And there's a reason why Micro Center still exists and Radio Shack does not. And interesting fact, Micro Center was formed by former Radio Shack employees in the 1970s, as I recall. Like I said, I know a lot about Micro Center's history. A lot of people are like, hey, Micro Center's a cool store. I know their damn history. I know the street the original store was on. I know about Micro Center's music video from the 1980s from employees called Working at Micro C. I think it was in 85 or 86 with the 80s hairstyles, the guitar, and everything. Working at Micro C. It's somewhere deep on the internet. I was shown it. This video exists before I did. It is on YouTube. I know for a fact it is. Like, that's like how little, how much of the lore of Micro Center I know, because there are so many people in Central Ohio that can trace their tech roots and job of some sorts to somehow being with Micro Center, either working there or knowing somebody who worked there or having to go buy things at Micro Center. Like one of my former bosses, they learned about the accounting software they then started selling later on from Micro Center. Solomon, Microsoft Solomon, which now became Dynamics SL. That's from the 1980s, this accounting software. Use math and cyber IT? Yeah. Not tremendously. Like, you're not going to do, like, polynomials and things like that, or complex algebra. I mean, I do because I'm special on certain things, but I also live in the metric system, and I live in the States, so do with that what you will. You want to explain the hat, bud? Make embedded systems fun again? Do I need to explain it much more than that? This hat is getting the exact reaction I was hoping it had, where people are like, why the hell are you wearing that hat? And I'm just like, because I like embedded systems. I mean, don't you like embedded computing systems too? I mean, I like embedded systems. This is an embedded system. Oh, by the way, now that I got your attention and ADHD, all that. So you know the Clipboy, this fucking awesome little thing that I've shown off, and like everybody's like, what the hell is that? Where do I get one of those? And they're like so disappointed to find out they were like already sold out. before the pre-sale even happened. I mean, before they came to DEF CON, they were already, like, sold out. Well, anyway, they're doing a second run. So if you remember, this is made by a 16-year-old kid. All the money is going towards their college fund. So if you want to buy one of these, they need to get a minimum of an order of 150 to make it happen. I think the pricing was 120, or I think like 135 with all the tariff adjustment and all that they had to deal with. But this is definitely worth it. It's a DOF detector. It also can do a bunch of detections for, just like what you would maybe use a Flipper Zero. And it's an ESP32. So we can detect flock, Flipper Zeros, skimmers, air tags, rogue access points, evil twins. We can do analysis on the data, scan for... so it's a great little security tool that's just in a fun Fallout-esque, inspiration and style. But yeah, so definitely recommend the Clipboy. You can go pick it up, go reserve it, and put your interest down at Bryce Badges. That's Bravo, Romeo, Yankee, Charlie, Echo, Bravo, Alpha, Delta, Golf, Echo, Sierra.com. It's a lot easier to say, and it protects my Honda keyboard. And that's why I don't wear hats anymore. Oh, that's why you don't wear red hats anymore. Yeah. Now, the only one that got a worse response from a lot of people than this hat with Make Embedded Systems Fun Again was, I think it was Mr. Fancy Pants at DEF CON. They had a hat that I really want that is on point with the MAGA font that says Make Malware Great Again. And if you look very quickly, you swear to God it is actually that hat. Like, even worse than this. Because you kind of look at this and you're like, well, the lettering is a little bit longer, like, once you get in. But yeah, I'm slowly starting to clean up everything. I mean, the basement's already been sterilized and everything with Pine Sol, because that's the power of Pine Sol, baby. But I haven't gotten around to tinkering with the stuff that I want to do. I've just been catching up on some other software libraries. So y'all are going to laugh at me and be like, Chief, why were you already not doing this? So I actually pulled the trigger a couple of weeks ago on Claude with their Pro Max plan. Oh, thank you. The Pro Max plan. And I've been using Claude, like through Hugging Face and GitHub Copilot Pro Plus. And for a while, GitHub Copilot was cheaper when they were doing it by charging you through requests. But when they did the tokens, well, they did the math, and I'm like, I may as well pay for the Claude Pro Max. Anyway, I've just been having the agents go through all of my code and correcting a bunch of things that I wanted to do, but didn't have the time for. But I still got to review a bunch of that stuff. So I did get approved as an individual, not through a company, as an individual, for their cybersecurity verified. Basically, I have less guardrails on Claude for cybersecurity things. I can't do like ransomware and stuff like that. I mean, reasonable restrictions, if you will. But yeah, Claude has helped me so much turn this weekend to a 5-year project into reality. Yeah, Claude has definitely helped me, because right now I'm actually converting parts of Stream Daemon, Boontube Daemon, and Star Daemon into a shared Python library between the three, and I'm going to publish that library on PyPy, so that way potentially people can have access to an easier way to interface with Mastodon, Matrix, Blue Sky, and Discord, without having to do finagling to figure out how to do posting and everything on those platforms. because they all have to deal with it in different ways. And I'm also working on Threads, and if I can figure it out, I'm going to revisit it with Claude, because I have access to Fable and everything, seeing if I can get TikTok to work with it too. What was the approval process like? They basically just check your background. It's not as deep as a job background check, but it's like, we need to verify that you're a human, okay? And then show us work that you've actually done in cybersecurity. So I just literally pasted a bunch of my GitHub repos and my socials. I was approved in like 2 days. Fable, the new game Fable. Is there a new Fable? Because I didn't know there was a new Fable. I loved Fable, but no, Fable is in Anthropic's Claude. I'm thinking of I'm thinking of leaving ChatGPT and going to Claude. But for just general use, would it be overkill? No. In fact, I actually am doing that right now. I've been using ChatGPT to package its own data up to give to Claude so I don't start from ground zero. And it's been working pretty well because it already knows, like, how I like to deal with things, and I tell it, like, you may have read-only access if you need write permissions. I need a verified, justified case as to why you need write permissions and extended read permissions. And I even tell it, like, anytime you're going to do write, I'm going to explicitly want permission outside of contained directories. Like, it's already figured out the guardrails and everything I do for it. And then I've been making my own skills, and one of the first things I did with Claude was I actually created a sync tool. I'm going to eventually share this in a public repo, but right now it's private until I get some things figured out. Because I'm figuring out how to get it working with multiple machines at the same time, referencing the same GitHub, so it'll track all the same skills and memories and all of that stuff. But I'm also, for my stuff, having it sanitize it because I don't want my memories to have any PII. And the honest truth is, I actually use ChatGPT to package things up for Claude. So I'll run ideas through ChatGPT to package it up to then go speak to Claude. And it actually makes Claude a lot more efficient because Claude, you have limits on what you can do with it. And I'm on the Claude Pro Max 5X plan, but I'm going to probably use, go to the Claude Pro Max 20X plan next month. Have you used browser use? Is secure? Not familiar with that. Anyone know of an easy way to open my server? I'm hosting open to my friends online. Well, if you're just doing it with your friends, there's Cloudflare warp tunnels, there's Tailscale, there's TwinGate, there's, what is it, Netbird, Headscale, I think, is another. There's a few options. It just depends on how you want to architect it. Is Pi-hole safe, or will it leak your bank login data? Pi-hole has nothing to do with the security of your banking apps per se. Pi-hole will merely just filter out ads and potentially malicious sites and things like that.
I can save money now and everyone can eat. Get money in the daytime, even counting when I sleep. Wake up, they getting bread, bitch. I do this for the streets. ADHD.
Captain 76 just subscribed.
Appreciate that sub over there. We come with receipts around this chat. Thank you. Thank you. Happy hacking, bud. Zero tier. I mean, yeah, there's many options for that. Is Pi-hole safe to use, or will it leak your bank data login? So Pi-hole's safe to use, but as far as your bank data login being leaked, it has nothing to do with Pi-hole. You can have your data leak and Pi-hole be perfectly fine. Pi-hole only just helps you resolve the DNS on your network and do some filtering at the DNS level. Which just means, like, if you have it on a list to block ads and trackers and maybe some malicious sites and things like that, it won't load those things. But yeah, I mean, I do the same thing with Pi-hole on Suricata.
Captain 76 is now chilling in the lab.
An intrusion detection and prevention system. Actually, no, I'm using not Suricata. PF Blocker NG for that stuff with Suricata on top of it, and that's something totally different. I don't know why my brain went there, but PF Blocker NG, I'm actually using lists from Pi-hole in my PF sense, so I don't have a separate device for DNS, and I'm not just doing DNS filtering and blocking and all that, I'm also doing it at the IP level. So that's the advantage of when you do it inside of a firewall versus Pi-hole. Not saying Pi-hole's bad, I'm just saying it's your entry into how you can do some additional fun networking security things. Like, eventually I'm gonna set up a network time server, and I've been debating if I want to go get a secondhand rubidium-powered time clock, where it's literally looking at the decay of the atoms, so that way, or the molecules, however, I think it's the atomic decay, to be able to tell time. And after a certain time, after like 5, 6, or whatever years I was reading, a lot of universities and stuff have to pitch them because they're no longer accurate enough for whatever compliance reasons, but they're more than accurate enough for personal use. And I wouldn't get my time from a network. I like look at GPS, and like that's like one of those things you learn about. Is it very niche? Absolutely. But it's fun stuff. So, which is the best way to learn pen testing, from Hack the Box or do practical stuff with real exploits from books and exploit database? Always the practical stuff is going to be better, but I wouldn't say books, because by the time a lot of the stuff is in books, it's a few years out of date, because you got to think about the logistics to get a book made. So you can research a lot of novel ideas, and the software is there online. There's a lot of documentation you can piece together. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, what rabbit hole do you want to dig yourself into when it comes to security? Because there's many different ways to approach it. But most of my friends that are, really, really excelling in the field did it hands-on. They may have done some, like, CTFs just to kind of, like, maybe get the hang of a few ideas. But ultimately, like, for my own lab, I've built my own stuff hands-on, and I'll be honest, outside of the classroom, like me going to WGU now and having to get some certs as part of the curriculum, I've never really done CTFs outside of like DEF CON and stuff like that. But those were just for fun. Kali OS or Parrot OS? I mean, if you're trying to daily something, I'm going to recommend Parrot OS. It's actually meant to be used. There's its hiccups once in a while, but it's a lot more stable than Kali. What AI is best to run local free that can do a web test without having to write test scripts all the time? It really depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, I've had some good results with Gemma and Quen, and it also is the size of the model that you're running and how you prompt for things, and there's a lot that goes into it rather than just the local model. And there's ways you can optimize model usage. Like there was a guy that got like, 1.5 terabyte Kimi K2 or whatever model, and squeezed it down into 8 gigabytes of RAM. Of course, you said it's like 1 token every 22 seconds. Hope you're recovering okay from the flood. Glad to see you on mine. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing as best I can. I'm really bummed about the Radio Lab taking the hit that it did, and we're throwing out a ton of the radio equipment, including the main radio computer that I had, the little Panasonic Toughbook. It's drying right now. I just got a new charger today. I was going to try plugging it in tomorrow and hoping for the best, but I'm probably going to need to replace that before I can get back doing my radio work regularly. And yeah. Do you ever do SSTV? No, I haven't really done SSTV. That's the one where you're talking about amateur radio TV, right? It's a fun little hobby. A lot of people don't know this. You can actually broadcast amateur radio TV stations. Once you get a ham radio license, you can do that. On certain bands, you're allowed to broadcast your own local TV station. It of course, won't go too far because you don't have the major licenses. Like, the most you'll be able to do, I don't know the specifics on the limitations for video, but the most you'll be able to do with any ham radio license is 1,500 watts, which, don't get me wrong, 1,500 watts is still freaking phenomenal what you can do with that. I mean, I'm running 100 at most, and I can get a good chunk of the way around the world. Amateur TV like Wayne's World? No, so Wayne's World was public broadcast. So amateur radio TV is even more like local and niche than that. So like PBS is, you know, publicly funded television. Like everyone can have a space there kind of like thing. They get you the equipment and all that. And that's like professional TV, but more accessible as a station. Amateur radio station is below that, where I can literally take my radio over there, connect it to a computer, do some software to basically capture video from a camera, and boom, I now have a amateur TV station that I can broadcast over the airwaves. And anyone that is listening on those specific frequencies can actually tune into me, including people that are on a regular TV set. Was your job more fun than your home lab? My job is fun because of the people I work with, not so much the things I do. My job, I'll be honest, is kind of boring on a day-to-day. The things I enjoy from my job are when I get to have my creative spark go. Like, right now, one second. Got like a glob of spice there. But where was I going with it? Oh yeah, but the people in my job are what make my job more entertaining, because my day-to-day job is kind of boring, but I enjoy being able to build things the way I want. Basically just being left alone and being told, like, hey, we need this, go build. And like right now, I'm having Claude run on my work laptop a bunch of things to build a CrowdStrike Foundry module that is allowing us to track data exfiltration across the company and manage all of the allow lists, you know, whitelists for all the domains there. So that way we can actually have modules we can pull out of in-store workflows automatically with databases of whitelisted domains. So that way, incident response can actually act upon data exfiltration events rather than deal with noise. And I got like a nice GUI and everything for it. I wish I could show you it, but it's company related. But yeah, I'm building that. But I'm also gonna probably pitch them on using my Typo Sniper software I already built, because I'm enhancing that right now also with Claude, but on this machine, because I have it working on the AI and machine learning components and fixing a few bugs that I was bashing my head against a few months ago, and I was like, I have better things to do with my time than to go through this. So it's working through the bugs, and now that I have the Cybersecurity verified account, it has been so great using Claude, because now I'm just like, hey, I need to do this shit, and we're going to do this thing, and we're going to be testing for these instances in an ethical situation, and it'll be like, okay, we're going to go find stuff to go F with people's networks. Of course, I only do it in ethical reasons. Like, dude, I'm the one with a credit card skimmer, and I'm more geeked about seeing if I can skim my own card. Like, I want to clone my own card and use it for gas or something. That's cool. Our IT director decided to pay for Microsoft Security Copilot to track data extraction. See, this is back to where I say that a lot of people have a vendor addiction problem in cybersecurity and IT, and why I say that, you know, when you go to your conferences, you should try to avoid the vendor-led conferences. Not that they're all so bad, but the corporate-y, vendor-led conferences generally are going to just sell you on, we're the solution if you buy this particular product. You need to go to community events where we go around and say, hey, yeah, you can build this tool to do that, or, hey, I open source this tool that does exactly what you need. You can bring it into your tooling, and if you need to enhance it, contribute some code, and then the community's better for it. Like, I have several projects in my repositories. I've had a couple of people say they actually use it internally at their businesses. Like my Typo Sniper tool, it was helping them do initial reconnaissance on typo squatted domains, which was the main reason for the tool. And my tool is free, but it works with VirusTotal and URL scan and all that. And I basically just got to talk to work and be like, hey, we already have licenses for all the things I built in. We can use this tool for free, and the only requirement I have per my licensing is any enhancements I do to the code must be contributed back to the project. Basically saying, hey, I'll work on this tool for the needs that we have, particularly in this company, but I gotta add those features to my code in a, generic way that's sanitized, of course, any company-specific stuff. Hey Chief, what would you recommend for projects that is based on data analytics that can use with my Homelab? It's just fresh and stuff. I unfortunately am not the best at data analytics and knowing what you would need for a lot of that stuff. Wish I could help you there. There might be some people in chat, there might be some people in the Discord that might know a little bit more than me on that front. Unfortunately, that is definitely a weakness of mine. Homelabbing makes me want to go job hunting by, I don't think a single ever words. Wow, did I just have a stroke mid-sentence? Homelabbing makes me want to go job hunting, but I don't think a single role will ever satisfy. Well, that's the honest reality. I enjoy being more in the senior role that I'm in now, because now I can kind of just go say, hey, I think we need to build this, discuss it, and then half the time I just, instead of discussing it with them, I'll just be like, hey, I made this thing, let's talk about it. You were just answered a question I was about to ask about building an open source tool. Yeah, I have a couple in my repo, and generally speaking, when I get ideas, I put them on my GitHub. Now, admittedly, not all of the repos in my GitHub are fully fleshed out. Like my Typo Sniper one, I'm now revisiting. Stream Demon and BoonTube Demon and Star Demon are now getting a little bit of an overwrite. Because I realized that they had so much similarity in their feature set that I should really turn a lot of their AI and social media library stuff. I mean, social media functions I got into a shared library that can be used across my projects and then everybody else's. But yeah, what'll be interesting is once I get the Claude Pro Max 20X plan, when I decide to pull that trigger, probably next month, I'm gonna probably be setting Claude to maintain all of my repositories. Like, I don't know if anyone's paid attention, but I kind of neglect the Dependabot. Which is fine, because most of the projects I have are not really even publicly facing. They're all, like, internal stuff. But, I want to keep that stuff tidy and maintained. But yeah, the honest truth is a Homelab will give you a lot of experience on the periphery, but you'll very rarely be given the opportunity that'll fully satisfy every little niche and urge that you have in the knowledge that you have. And that's why I also Homelab, because you can scratch that itch in many other ways. And there's a lot of ideas that I want to do at work, but I can't do because of work systems, and of course it affects production, whereas I can take those exact same ideas and then mess them up in my Homelab, and worst case, it's me boning my own stuff. But most time it actually is very rewarding. But yeah. So, oh yeah, and then I have the hard drives still cloning over here. So the hard drives are over here from B-Sides and DEF CON. My U console's just on top of it. I'm trying to keep everything off the floor, basically. Hey, Sickney, what's up? And then I've got all of my DEF CON and B-Sides talks here. So I know the B-Sides and DEF CON talks are free. Oh, this is a nice little flash drive. It really is. But I know the talks are free and everything, but the thing they do is that if you buy them in when you're at the show, you get them for like $280, and you're like, Chief, why would you pay money for that? Well, I didn't pay money for it. Anyway, the advantage of doing this is that you get a business license with these that you can put on an internal company server for any kind of trainings. Now you know who bought it. And I told them straight up when I got this, I'm like, you do realize I'm getting a copy for myself and putting it on my drives at home. And they're like, that's totally fine. Like, it's literally for the entire cybersecurity team anyway. But anyway, these are basically the 34 and DEF CON 34 and B-Sides 2026 talks. Some of them are already publicly. Are you playing a schedule? What do you mean? I was wondering where one of my Wi-Fi adapters was. Alright, let's see. Okay. I'm hoping that I can get all of this copied over. Let's see how much data these drives are. So, DEFCON 34. It's 130 gigabytes. Alright, I'm trying to bring that into my little tool, the Infocon scrapers. NVIDIA is bad on Linux? No. That stopped being an issue many years ago. I have a 5070 Ti.
I can save money now and there. One can eat, get money in the daytime. Even counting when I sleep. Wake up, they're getting bread, bitch. I do this for the streets. ADHD.
Jess K. Bear just resubbed for 20 months. Another one.
I should have it, like, figure out smartly, like, when somebody says something like that, and do a DJ Khaled noise. Thank you for the sub there. Appreciate you, Jessica. Appreciate you. How to get knowledge in this community. Alright. You want to know how you get knowledge in this community? Come here. Alright? You go out, and you touch grass, and you talk to people. That's it. Why do you think I go to a lot of these conventions and conferences? Yes, they're fun, but I mainly do it for all the people that I meet. I make great friends out there. I learn amazing things from the people that I talk to. A lot of people have this huge misconception that, oh, I'm going to work in tech and cybersecurity because I don't like dealing with people and I'm an introvert. Well, guess what, buddy? That ain't the fucking reality. You want to succeed in this career? You gotta go out and talk to people. And that includes developers. Developers have to go to conferences too. There's like AWS reInvent and things like that. There's like open source conventions, things. This is how it works. And this is how tech has always been. Now, to a lot of the Gen Z and maybe the younger millennials too, that may not have been seeming the case because you kind of always had the internet, but user groups originally were in person. Homebrew computer clubs were in person. You know, like DEF CON was started in an era when everything was in person. Or you would go online to your bulletin board system or your MySpace page or even your Facebook, and you were organizing the thing online, maybe talking on AOL Instant Messenger, so you would meet up and hang out offline. That's the honest truth. You want to learn more in this community? You gotta go network and talk to the community. I know. It burst the bubble of a lot of people that are like, I don't have to talk to people. They're fucking wrong there. Stop screen looking. Hold on. If I can find it. Nope, that's the dial. God damn. I threw like everything on my desk. Well, the moment's passed basically for this joke. Everything's on my desk because of the flood, but I was gonna zoom the camera in. Had the remote. And stare at you. Are them bananas on your hat? I don't think they're bananas, but so this was a hat I bought from Valid. The same people that sold me the 751 key. That's the private, anonymous, secured protocol that I think could supersede Tor and stuff for message communications and stuff. But yeah, they had like charm bracelets like from the rave. See on your key. This is a 751 key, a universal key, so like my thinking is like maybe I have a friend that is having a period and they have a 751 key and I'm like, here, go get yourself some free tampons. Or like maybe just some fuckery where there happens, I don't know. I don't even know why my brain went to that example. But anyway. But yeah, it says screw the data economy. And then I also have, of course, make embedded systems fun again, which, by the way, yeah. Free the tampons. Yeah. Like, let me put it this way. I never understood the plight women had with tampons and everything until you, as a man, actually go and try to be the considerate one for your girlfriend at the time who happens to be suffering, and you're new to this whole thing, and you're like freshly 18, 19 years old. And then you're there stuck in the aisle because you're like, hey, I'll go get them and help you out because, you know, you're not feeling well and you're just trying to be a nice person, and standing in the aisle and being like, the hell does all this shit fucking mean? Wings and extra flow or whatever the... Thank you to the women that were actually, like, knowing I was trying my best with all the questions I asked. But seriously, guys, it's not a disgusting thing. It's a natural part of life. If you can talk about your farts, you can talk about a period. And I know some of y'all also talk about how long your shit is, because I'm a dude, okay? So if you can do that, then shut the fuck up about cringing at a period. Just saying. This is my TED Talk. I don't know how we got here. But anyway. What was I doing? Oh yeah, so I got the B-sides and DEF CON 34 talks. I need to go through them because there's a lot of talks and stuff I wanted to see. It all started with the Big Bang, that's what she said. What's up, Asterisk? Alright, so I'm copying over the data from the B-sides, LV. Alright, so it's 128 gigabytes. DEF CON 34 is 95.3 gigabytes. B-sides is 27.1 gigabytes. So, to contain the entirety of the modern Infocon drive, seeing everything that I have, you need a little bit more than 6 terabytes. I think right now the total calculation is 6.5 terabytes. Now, if DEF CON... God damn, this is gonna be like an 8 terabyte requirement for Infocon maybe next year. Which I have 8 terabyte drives. But yeah, so now I have it copying from the flash drive over here to the disk over here. What are your thoughts on March? You've been curious to check it out after the 8 million deal. So I've talked about this before. What's it? David Hennemeyer Hansen, I think is his name, has been a very controversial figure, the guy behind it. So let me put it this way. Omarchy is just a bunch of scripts for somebody to get their arch set up the way they wanted to have it set up. It's just basically, if you want to think about it more or less, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, a wrapper for arch. Okay? The problem with Omarchy isn't the project. The problem with Omarchy is the person who mainly is behind it. And they've been very controversial. And I'm not saying that very lightly. Like, dude, this is me. I think I've been pretty much like a pretty chill dude and being like, I think you're wrong, but no. He said some things like against Roma people. I know that's a tired old European, trope for they don't like gypsies, got it. But it is a thing where he actually said that and then went on a rant because Claude wouldn't translate his piece because it said that it was encouraging hate or something like that, and then he ranted about that. And then some people are like, well, the AI should do what it's told. And I'm like, well, the AI is not running on your server, so no, you're running on somebody else's infrastructure. Who is this guy again? David Hennemeyer Hansen. So he actually was a pretty brilliant dude. I mean, still is. He's just kind of gone off the rails. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not one of those people that's like, libtard, whatever the Red Hat version, this is my version of a Red Hat, say. But anyway, he's just, one second, I'm trying to remember the projects that he, did. Give me 1 second. Open a new window here. All right. David Hennemeyer Hansen. Hold on. Yep, David Hennemeyer Hansen. He's the creator of Ruby on Rails. He's also the Omarchy guy. There's a few other things he did. There's the Basecamp. He worked at that. Basically, he's a dude that's been all over the place, and for many years was actually very influential in a lot of different technology things. But the problem is, after a while, he kind of went off the rails into this whole, let's just say it's not cool kind of approach on things. And this is not, he's been in so many different controversies that it's not like, okay, maybe he said something in a wrong way and he didn't mean it that way. It's been to the point of, he's actually talked about genocide. And I do not take that lightly. I'm not saying that lightly. What was it? The recent one, I talked about, was because he had some writings that people could see as very, anti-Roma. The gypsies. Yeah. And I know there's, this whole history with Roma people and yada, 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 but still, dude, they've faced a lot of bullshit and oppression. But anyway, that's the issue that I have with
Nivis9 is now
Omarchy.
chilling in the lab.
Thank you for the follow. Is not so much the project itself, but it's who's behind it has been such a controversial figure that even though I know it's open source software, it's kind of like, do I really want to be kind of, in a way, encouraging that kind of thing? And it's one of those softwares where I don't have to use it, so I just don't. Not like I'm going around hating on anybody that uses it, because most people don't even know the politics that go behind a lot of the softwares that they even use. I mean, a lot of people don't even know about the history of Microsoft and their what is it they call it, the monopolistic practices that the DOJ went after them for, and why Bill Gates was forced out of Microsoft ultimately. But yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of things. What's up, Alpha OG? Alright, let's see if we can at least catch up on some stuff on stream. I'm sorry, Vampire and Kara, I'm not going through the entire backlog of things. There's just too much shit. And I've gone through too much shit. I'm like, fuck this noise. My house has been flooded. I will do what I want. Alright, let's see. Google pays... What the hell? Google wins bankruptcy auction for Spirit Airlines emails, chats, and documents. That is upsetting. So, your data is, of course, an asset. Oh. You can't see it. Hold on. Hold on. I'll fix it. Alright, let's see. What is it? CD... Screen layout... Apply layout. I had to do a trick because of my monitor being with, the capture card. So hopefully... God damn it, you're gonna make me physically unplug it, aren't you? Alright. Yep, it needed to be physically unplugged. Okay. Wait, did I unplug the right thing? God damn it. Don't you love content creation on a tech thing where everybody, you know, doesn't get their shit working? Okay, so it is seeing the capture card there. So hold on. And I swear to God. Ah! That's me twice. Okay, it's something with my monitor. Google really doesn't want this on Twitch. Probably not. Alright, hold on. Alright, let me see if I can... I'm just gonna ask Claude to freaking dive into this, because I'm like, okay, something hung up with my script. That normally works all the time. Source? Probably helps if it's alphabetical. Let me see. Session. By layout. Give it the source material for my frickin' script. I've literally just been having it go through and debug a lot of my shit. Alright, let me see. Where? Oh, where? I called it NVIDIA something. trying out a new verb for searching. I'ma duck that. Duck, duck, go. If you can duck, if you can... It'd kind of be funny if you could say, some way to, like, duck Google with it. Like, you know, back in the day, Microsoft came up with the idea of Scroogled. To talk about you being screwed out of your data being used by Google. If you could figure out something like that. I got those iPhone fan coolers because my iPhone gets hot. If your iPhone is getting hot, then you honestly may have issues with it and you need to get it serviced because they're not designed to get, you know, hot like that. A lot of times it's charging, battery issues, other things. Why did it get so much flooding? Because we had, like, what was it, 6 or 7 inches of rain in a matter of, like, 5 or 6 hours. It came down so much that parts of the city that have never, ever been flooded were flooded, and that included highways. Might need a new category on Discord for review on Twitch. Category 1, news. Category 2, memes. Category jokes, memes, not relevant. Category 4, tech related. We might need to do something like that. I've honestly been going down the queue of my projects to work on my Discord bot, Penguin Overlord, to enhance it. And one of the things I want it to do is... help grab stories and everything for the stream, or at least organize the things that are there, and give a heads up on relevant news and things like that. But we'll figure it out. The thing is, I'm probably going to have to tie it into Claude, and I'll need to figure out the API on that stuff, as well as what the cost of that'll be. Randomly picks relevant things. No, it pick it based on what it knows about me. I may use Google Gemini, though, because Google Gemini, you get like 50 free requests per day or something like that on a few of the plans, or 100, or I forget what it is. Hold up. I'm curious. Sounds expensive. He spared no expense. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've been building a lot more tools, as you've known, because a lot of the things that I want to do just don't exist. For example, hey, I think Claude fixed it. Sorry, I'm watching over here. Yep. I figured, okay. So Claude literally looked at my old notes that I had, and I said, because I forgot this was a thing, for some reason the driver forces it at 120 hertz, and that causes issues with this capture card, because it should be doing, I forget what frequency it's at, 100 hertz. I think it is. Yeah. So the pixel clock. Oh, it actually had to drop the pixel clock. Huh. But anyway, Yeah. Sometimes it's easier to have it look through my own notes. Yeah, 100 hertz was the fix. What is the sub drops that keep showing up for, like, Amazon audiobooks? What do you mean? I started a new IT position in today. Hold on. Started a new IT position today in solutions architecture instead of security engineering. It's super overwhelming and there is so much new knowledge and things to know. Any advice on navigating this? It's a new position at the same defense company I work at. Well, you're going to be drinking the fire hose very often in your career. The best thing to do is just, go with the flow, ask questions as you go, and, if you're honestly feeling overwhelmed, vocalize that with your team and, figure out what the specific things are that you're getting overwhelmed with. But the honest truth is, a lot of it is due to the fact that you're, no longer in your comfort zone, and now you have to actually do things that are new and uncomfortable for you, and that's a healthy part of growing and maturing in your career and just life in general. It'll get better over time, but you also may figure out, this is a new position. You might be, hey, this was valuable for me to do, but this isn't for me. I'm going to go back to doing that. And there's no problem with, trying something out and it doesn't work. It's all in how you handle it. On Twitch, bottom of chat, I'll post on Discord screenshot. What the hell? There shouldn't... What the... You're gonna have to share with me. I have no idea what the watch drops are. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, one of the things that got set back with the flood, I was planning to do closed captions and figuring out how to do that with AI. So that's kind of boned and on hold, along with the Media MTX server to rebroadcast and all. I'm in a 3-year internal rotation program, so every 9 to 12 months I get placed in a new position. I don't really know where I want to go next, but I want to stay in the world of IT or cyber. Well, there's a lot of things you can do in IT and cybersecurity that you could honestly, what you said, every 9 to 12 months, you can probably honestly hop around every position for the rest of your life and still not go through every IT and cyber position. But the honest truth is, if you're not enjoying that, internal cycle of rotating, which I find it beneficial, some people don't, it is what it is, but then you may need to look at getting a job elsewhere, or vocalizing that you are not really cut out for this job rotation thing. Are Lenovo's or ThinkPads good for Linux? They're excellent. They are the #1 mainstream laptop brand I recommend to most people for laptops and mini PCs and all that shiz. They're great. I like Lenovo. I lost a few Lenovo things in the flood. Really bummed about those things too. Also, Lenovo follows me on TikTok. I'm one of the few people they'd follow on TikTok. I want to get them following me on Instagram, too. I'd like to actually work with them on some things, but meh. Bro, Lucky Hope, they send you the things like the lady who gets followed on TikTok by MS Windows and get free stuff. That one makes no sense to me. That, Microsoft follows her. Is DevOps a good career choice? I'm new here. DevOps can be a good career choice. There's a lot to it that, I'll be honest. So, yeah. Profiles number 32 and 32 numbers say E and F. Okay. I'm probably going to get another hard drive and build all these Infocon drives completely. If I get another 8 terabyte drive, I should be able to rebuild the entire Infocon myself. And I think if I'm able to do that, I might actually spend the money. Was it if I get enough, if I get this to work, I will actually pay money for a seed box so that I can support the data that a lot of these torrents go. Do you support weird or PDF? No. And I know in many cases, people that have been caught, in CSAM related things have been tossed out of DEF CON. Is it a good or bad thing I walk into Micro Center and everyone knows me by name? Yep, that used to be me. I used to be at Micro Center every week, every other week when I worked at an MSP. Tell me about DevOps for the future. It's hard to say what it's going to look like for the future. Damn. Trying to see if it's gonna fill up the drive. I'm trying to figure out how to recreate this Infocon drive. I have a feeling they might, because I don't have the Infocon drive in front of me. They were using some kind of compression. Who's your favorite Linux distro and what's your best distro for beginners? I mean, I have favorite ones for different things. I normally daily pop OS, although I've been waiting for the 2604 version. But I also, like Parrot OS and Cubes OS, and then for servers, I often use Ubuntu or Debian, sometimes Red Hat for businessy things. If I'm in AWS, I'm often using AWS Linux. So it's not like I have a one favorite for everything. It really depends on what I'm trying to do. And if you're trying to, gauge and ask questions like, what is the best Linux or that, you're going to ask 10 different people and get 11 different answers. So the best Linux at the end of the day is the one that you like and that works for you. Keep seeing you pop up on my Instagram. I'm doing my MSc in cybersecurity right now, and IG Instagram thinks I'd be interested in your content. So far, so good. Appreciate it. Happy hacking, buddy. There'll be a lot more content on various different things. Unfortunately, last week there was a flood and I lost a bunch of my tech. So I'm still trying to assess where everything is. At least I didn't lose this project. That's been my baby I've been working on for like months now. I think I've been working on that since June. And that project, the uConsole BLE Stalker, which I'll eventually be renaming to Skid Finder, is on my GitHub. I'm going to redo all these antennas. In fact, the rest of the antennas are here, but what I actually saw was an interesting idea from someone on Instagram in the cybersecurity posts. They replaced the stock LoRa and Wi-Fi antennas here, and I think I lost the small LoRa antenna here and had to throw that out in the flood, but I can always replace that. So 3 of these are Wi-Fi, 2 of these are Bluetooth, one's LoRa, one's GPS, and then this is an SDR over here. The idea was basically to put SMA to BNC connectors over here, and then put BNC connectors again on the other way, so it'll be connector to connector to antenna, so that way I can have an easy way to detach the antennas and secure them. I'll have to test for the insertion loss on all of that, because there is the potential doing something like that may negate the new antennas that I'm even trying to put in the first place for the gain, because you can lose a lot of signal for every connection. A lot of people don't know that with RF. That's why you want to minimize the number of connections that you have when running a cable. And you want to have solid runs, because every connection is going to add resistance, and it's got to transition over that. I'm new to IT and cybersecurity. What projects would you recommend me to do with the Raspberry Pi 5 16GB RAM? That's a lot of memory, so it's kind of hard to say just keep it on one. You can use that as a nice little Docker box for a bunch of different little use cases. Raspberry Pis are not great at, being a hypervisor to host virtual machines, but you can easily make that a Docker console. So there's an application called Portainer that'll make this a lot easier for you to visualize it. You use it as a Portainer box, and then you can run a bunch of different applications underneath it inside of Docker. And if you're not familiar with what Docker is a way to containerize applications. So when you build an application, you have to have dependencies and all that included in it. Docker includes all that for it, so it can run out and it can have its own networking stack, and it can secure things a little bit more. It's not as isolated and sandboxed as a virtual machine. It's if I recall, it's user space separation rather than machine separation. But yeah, so you can host a crap ton of Docker containers to do a whole bunch of different things. I'm just throwing ideas out there. You could have Grafana run on that. You could have a little WordPress run on that. You could have a Minecraft server run on that. Doing all that in little Docker containers to manage all of that and start and stop them in different ways. I know how to use Docker and Docker Compose. It's like the bare minimum. Well, there you go. Learn a little bit more about Docker. So I kind of have something like that. I do have Portainer on my computer. Not my computer here, but on my server, which is running my Docker. And I built my... So when I announce that I'm live on stream, it's an automation that detects when I go live on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. And whenever I'm live on each of those platforms, it makes its own post. Well, that's a Docker container that then goes and talks to my AI server to generate the text for the going live announcement based on the headline I put out there, or when I have a video posted on YouTube or YouTube. It'll do the same thing. So those are all Docker containers. So the great thing about it is when I moved from the Raspberry Pi to my server hardware with that, it literally was as simple as move the Docker. Literally, I didn't even move the Docker. I literally just typed the command to install the Docker from the GitHub container repository that I built it into, and it grabbed it And then I just copied and pasted over, more or less. I mean, I copied it over, just through command line, the environment file that then set up the secrets manager and everything else to call it. And then it was just like, start it, and boom, just worked again. Do you host your own registry? Nah, ain't nobody got time for that. Docker, I barely know her. I want an image server for sure. The thought of uploading my photos to my hard drive so I can delete them on my phone sounds nice. Oh, an image server. Yeah, you can do that pretty well. There's a software called OwnCloud. So you can self-host your own cloud. They have a Docker version, for those of you curious. So that is an option for you to do that. And there was an application I used for a period of time, iCloud photo downloader that literally connected to iCloud and then would download everything. Unfortunately, it broke when I started putting YubiKeys on everything, but it is. Did you only go to high school? No. I did do some college for electrician, and then family forced me into the whole associate degree while I was already working in tech. And now I'm working on my 4-year degree, even though I am a senior and already have a CISSP. Like, I'm going to get the 4-year degree for the job that a lot of people go to get the 4-year degree for. Kind of funny how that works. Use Nextcloud, not OwnCloud. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Nextcloud had the whole split, and the original creator of OwnCloud went to Nextcloud. You're right. I even have all my own stuff on Nextcloud that was on OwnCloud. Over-engineer and use it as K8s and a Proxmox VM. Yeah. Gotta do some college just to get access to certain hardware, software you can't normally access. I mean, you're not wrong that you gotta, I wouldn't say do some college, but if you dumpster dive at a university at the right time, you get some computer hardware you normally can't touch. And if you know friends at different enterprises, you also get your hands on hardware gear for enterprises that normally you can't afford to touch. Because it's lost as waste. They're going to throw it out anyway. Yeah, curious. Are you still rocking the Prusa i3 Mark IIIs? Yes. They're still good. They're still reliable workhorses. I have to do some maintenance on them. I haven't done any maintenance on them in months, and I barely touch them. But they did survive the flood. Thankfully, because I built them on, the LAC stack. So they're, 2 LAC tables high. The water never even was a risk to them. Yes, so not use OwnCloud. It's trash. Nextcloud with Cloudflare tunnels in advance. Well, yeah, because the creator behind OwnCloud didn't like the business model, so he went and made Nextcloud and then redid the whole thing. I like that the guy literally pulled the, screw you guys, I'm gonna make my own with hookers and blackjack. And he did it. Any tips to break into tech ASAP? I got lucky to get another job at a hospital after hunting for a year, but I hate it here. This place sucks. I always hear Homelab, but when I look up Homelab stuff, I get information overload, and then I feel stupid. Here's the thing. Information overload is a good thing. And I know that makes a lot of people uncomfortable because a lot of people are not used to getting, over their heads with information and getting it only fed to them in palatable bites in the classroom, where unfortunately a lot of the education system is teaching you what to think rather than how to think. So you kind of got to stick with it for a while. You got to drink the fire hose of knowledge, and you're not going to get everything. But if you keep at it, you're going to start getting things. And the more important thing is, if you start making friends in the community, join communities, start asking questions about the things you're having issues with, and not expecting to be spoon-fed, but given springboards. So that's the big difference. So it is a very uncomfortable thing at first to have the information overload. And then eventually you get kind of used to it, and then you know what pieces of information you need to grab and kind of hold on to. It's kind of like, think of it like Matrix, when Neo becomes the One, and he can finally see the zeros and ones and knows how to grab the information. It's kind of like the same thing, but that takes time. That takes time. That doesn't happen just ASAP. And getting into IT and cybersecurity, just like pretty much any other career, is not a race. It's a marathon. It takes time to get to where you want. So, yeah. Do I need college? Can't I do other stuff to get experience and learn? I didn't go to college for my career. I was already working in tech when I went to college, and was already a cybersecurity engineer when I decided to go back for my 4-year degree, and literally landed the senior position at a new company not even 2 months into the 4-year degree. And I'm like 74% done with the WGU 4-year degree. I was thinking of getting a Mark III secondhand over the new printers around the same price. If you can get them secondhand and they're not that expensive, because remember, a brand new Prusa, I think they run about $800 or $900. But if you can get them for like $100 to $250, I think even, that's a pretty good deal. Prusas are still solid. They are still workhorses, and you can actually upgrade them. So if you want, you can upgrade them to the most latest Prusa, but also there's somebody coming out on Crowd Supply that is making an upgraded board that's going to be a drop-in for the Prusa Mark IIIs. So they may not be as capable as like some of the nicer printers and, you know, maybe like your Bamboo Labs like you mentioned, but you won't sell your soul. I would rather rock my old Prusa Mark IIIs than... Let me put it this way. If someone were to walk into my basement and say, Chief, we got a Bamboo Labs printer for you. We're going to cover your filament costs for 2 years. And, you know, whatever. I'd tell them to go pack it. And I'm going to stick with my open source Prusas. Because I do not like how Bamboo Labs went and approached software a few times. I can't remember the specifics, but I remember it was like, that's not very software-free to me. Oh, I love the Sage and Naruto in the background. Yeah, there's that and Motoko Kusanage. The desk is more messy than usual because I had a flood, so... Everything that normally is like on top of the wine fridge and everything down here is up here. And that's probably how it will be for the time being. Yeah, I lost a bunch of computers and tech, and you can go to my Instagram and like see a bunch of it. The Instagram has more of the information than my TikTok does. I mean, I put a lot of the same videos there, but yeah. I'm just so tired. I feel like I'm cracking. One day I'm gonna snap at my boss and get fired. No, I feel it. That's how I felt when I was in retail, while I was working my ass off to get into IT. So to the person that was asking what my first job was, do you mean like in tech or overall? Because, if we're talking about my first ever job, I mean... It was doing tech work as a kid. But if we're talking about first job where you're getting paid from a corporation, you know, hourly, whatever, that'd be Radio Shack. If we don't count my time selling hookahs, you know, nargilas, while I was in Israel and just traveling abroad there. And I don't want to hear shit from anybody hijacking the chat, okay? Moroccan Jew, Muslim and Jewish family that's Israeli and Palestinian. Don't bring that bullshit here. We don't do that keyboard activism bullshit. Some of us actually have relatives there. And that's my soapbox talk about that topic. Next! The major? Oh yeah, I love Motoko Kusanage. So, you can't see it right now, but my mouse pad is Motoko. And I have another mouse pad desk mat at my workplace, which is also Motoko. Yes, the major. Also known, and never say this within earshot, Queen Kong. But yeah, so I've also been watching the new anime series. I've really been liking it. What gear are you able to replace after Flood? I have to assess all the computers. I have some friends sending me switches. I lost a shit ton of antennas. Like, these things, luckily, I already ordered these before the Flood. I ordered these when I was at DEF CON, actually. They weren't DEF CON related, they were just told to me by a friend at DEF CON. These are log periodic antennas. So this one can do 400 to 1,000 megahertz. It's like a directional antenna. And this one can do, what is this? I want to say 850. Yeah, 850 to 6,500 megahertz. I did at least keep my U console over here. So that's at least safe, as well as the Clip Boy. This also came in, the Hack RF Pro, but the laptop I use for all the radio research may be fucked. Best anime in your opinion? It's really hard to say what's the best, but I'd have to say Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood are probably the two that are going to be the tops in my list. Yeah, those are going to be the two that I'd pick, and I can't really pick one over the other for different reasons. Also, Fairy Tail's pretty good. Samurai Champloo was another good one. God, it's so hard to pick them. Do you need to switch your VPN location regularly for good OPSEC? No. Here's the advice I would give you. For good OPSEC, get the fuck off the internet. Like, I'm not even joking. The best way to be private on the internet is not be on the internet. VPNs don't matter nearly as much as a lot of people think they do. They're a useful tool, especially in networking security, to get from site to site location and, have a secure tunnel from place to place. But the way a lot of people use VPNs, let me put it this way. All you've done with a VPN is you've moved the boundary of trust with your connection. What I mean by that is, okay, you're going to make the argument maybe of, I don't want my ISP to see things. But the honest truth is your ISP is a cheap bastard as well. They don't want to spend money. And that means they're going to have to spend money to analyze your traffic. So they're really not that interested unless government compels them to do something. Like, seriously, when they get the DMCA requests and all that, it's literally the IP holders, the intellectual property holders, saying, we found people doing this, do your thing. They don't do the investigation. So anyway, you're, encrypting all your traffic so your ISP doesn't see it. But you've moved the boundary of trust from your network edge to the VPN provider's network edge. Now, I'm not saying there aren't use cases for VPNs, like if you're trying to get around geo-blocks and things like that. But if you're talking about operational security and you're thinking of VPN, sometimes that actually is going to do you more harm than good, depending on what your actual goal is. And that's why you have to understand different technologies like Tor, I2P, Valid. Yeah, Valid. They make the ones that, sold me the keychain here. We like Valid around here. If you don't know what Valid is, it's a project that came out 3 years ago from the Cult of the Dead Cow, the OGs of computer hacking. If you don't know who the Cult of the Dead Cow is or Valid right now, I will tell you right now, open up a new tab while you're watching me and just look up Cult of the Dead Cow. Read their history and how influential they are. And then read up on Valid. That's Victor, Echo, India, Lima, India, Delta. I was like, is it an I or that? I was like, it's on your hand, dumbass. Yeah, Victor, Echo, India, Lima, India, Delta. I wish I could keep up with anime. I made a masochistic decision to watch One Piece. Oof. I went through that masochistic decision. I was hated by the people that had to live with me. Not my dogs. My dogs are chill. The other person. Yes. Anyway, I watched over like the 1,000 or so episodes of One Piece, and that took me a couple of months. Now I'm watching Black Torch, trying to keep up with that, as well as Daemons of the Shadow Realm. I need that on my wrist. Oh, so this is a 751 key too. This is a universal utility key. So if you ever look at locks, very often, they will actually have the CH751 key. So there's a lot of different keys you can get. Now, these aren't those keys, but I am going to get a set of the universal keys. These are all bump keys. So what these are is you take these and you put them up to a lock, and then you take a bump hammer, like this, and then you just, knock them just right to get the pins to set. You can get through a lot of locks this way. Dude, once you get into lock picking, you realize, like, locks just keep honest people out. And then you learn to set up additional alarm systems beyond just that. Do you own cats? Do you like cats? I'm not a cat person. I am a dog person. I love dogs. Cats, not really a fan, and I'm allergic to them. The Cult of the Dead Cow makes me think there is no cow level. I have a feeling the cow level may have been inspired by Cult of the Dead Cow. Pissed me off. You can watch a YouTube video and learn from it right away. Wait, what? Oh. I'm trying so hard to bypass my school's internet restrictions, it seems they blocked UDP or WG. Okay, here's an idea. Alright, I have a foolproof way to get around your school's restrictions. Alright? Hear me out. Get your own damn computer and internet. I know! Amazing, right? Who would have thought? Oh, what WG is WireGuard. Like, here's the thing. I know how to get around quite a few different systems schools and businesses have deployed to, restrict your access on things. But that's one of those things where I don't share those tricks. And so you're going to find there's a lot of cybersecurity professionals that we don't share all of our tricks online, but if we meet you in person, we'll share a lot more fun stuff with you. I go to no electronics talks very often, where you have to turn off your devices. You learn a lot of cool things in those talks. What do you think about looks maxing? Is that stupid thing where people are taking, like, the hammer and, like, beating themselves and, basically getting plastic surgeries to, because they have, like, some body dysmorphia instead of learning to have confidence in the body that they're in and maybe just do some natural things? I mean, look, I understand that some people, want or need cosmetic surgery. There are deformities, things like that, and I'm not poo-pooing anybody that, wants to change something about themselves to make themselves feel better, but there's a point when you gotta look at it and be like, really? Like, I look at some of these people getting BBLs and I'm like, That does not look good on them. That does not look good on them. That's hard maxing. What, doing natural or soft maxing? I'm gonna tell you that, this conversation is making me go soft maxing. I don't have a fucking clue what this conversation means, but right now, it is the big... I do cock maxing. Have you seen people fart maxing? Oh, fart maxing's great. I mean, you feel lighter afterwards. And sometimes you can fart max so hard that you actually can power a car. In fact, did you know that the average elephant produces enough gas in one day to make a car go about 20 miles? I don't know what you're going to do with that information, but you're welcome. Untapped fuel source. Yeah? But yeah, I don't understand half this shit, and I feel like I'm coming upon my boomer era, because I look at half this shit that, just saying the sentence ages me. Kids are doing nowadays, this looks maxing crap and all this, and I'm like, the fuck is this? Or, the slang that they're coming up with. I'm now understanding my parents when I, was doing the shit that I was. Skibbity Riz toilet. Whatever. What do you think of Iron Man? The comic book or the Marvel MCU version? What VPN protocol do I use? Depends on what the use case is. Shit, what's the one we use in business? IPsec? Do that a bit. WireGuard, OpenVPN. Although the other day I had to yell at somebody because I found a legacy PPTP. That was fun. Was it PPTP? I don't know, some old protocol. I'm like, dude, this should have been killed 10 years ago. IPsec IKAE2, yeah. Hey, at least our slang made sense. Yeah, our slang totally made sense. The slang of today is the epitome of the brain rot that we are theorizing they all have. Tell me the use cases. Well, you have site-to-site and client-to-site connections. If I'm trying to secure a connection between two business locations, I generally am going to have a cert on both sides, and they're going to authenticate against each other. Or key. Cert and key. And it depends. I just got a help desk role in an MSP and holy tickets. Yep. Welcome to the MSP life. You'll get burned out in a year or two, maybe 3, but you're going to learn a whole lot, and it's going to set you up great for the rest of your career. So, it's going to suck in the short term, but enjoy it. Why is 6'7" funny? Because some kid said it at a basketball game, but what does it mean? I don't know, it's just funny. Yeah, I don't get the whole 6'7" thing, but 69? That fucking made sense! Also, the new gen slang, just rename old slang like LARPer, poser. Yeah, or the fact that, I now have an easy way to pick out... Okay, so let me put it this way. The easiest way to pick out the biggest people who are LARPing in cybersecurity are generally the people that use the term LARPing. Because that was a term that has only come out in the new generation coming to, cybersecurity and everything. We called them skids. We called them skids and posers. What the fuck is LARPing? Live action role playing. So basically take that and it's You know, the people that pretend to be elite hacksaws. You know, what we used to jokingly make fun of with skids, because they'd take scripts and run them like low-orbiting ion cannon and then just fire away. What's up, Eduardo?
For me to face the game, so I opened up my toolbox.
True Story 48 is now chilling in the lab.
Hey, thank you for the follow. But yeah, I don't understand the LARPing, this whole new language of stuff they use, and if anyone just comes up... Let me put it this way. There are a few things that tell me that you are still a child and you are new to the field. Or new to the field. One, you go around saying people are LARPing in cybersecurity, because you obviously haven't been in the field long enough to know that it's a skid. Maybe at best you had the term poser, but LARP is something that was not in a vocabulary up until very, very recently. The other thing is the people that go around accusing others of being like a Reddit mod or a Discord mod. You know why? Because the people that have been around long enough have been around longer than Reddit in many cases, as well as especially Discord. So... you're calling people that look like that things that may not actually be using those platforms. Now, Reddit may be used more often because, well, in IT and cybersecurity, you have to use it as a resource. And that's where a lot of the normies, I can tell, are not involved in cybersecurity professionally yet, because it's like, you're using Reddit as an insult, not knowing it is actually a required resource in very many IT and cybersecurity issues. Like, you do a Google search for fixes very often, it'll be a Reddit forum. What does skid mean? Script kid. Script kitty. It's basically somebody who wants the elite hacksaw aesthetic, and then they basically just run scripts and don't know what they do. So the new generation of script kiddies are vibe coding. Like, do I have AI write a lot of my stuff? Yeah, nowadays, because it's quicker for me to actually go through it and me correct bad code than it is for me to write good code in the first place. But they wouldn't know their ass from a hole in the ground, or how to do code securely, modularize it, or a lot of the base fundamentals. Oh, hey, Abby. By the way, I did find a second hat. So, once things settle down, I'm gonna set it aside for you. So I'll have a hat for you. Because I know you didn't make it to DEF CON this year, so at least you get something. I've always heard it as a cosplayer. Skid is new to me. Skid was a druggie when I was growing up. I mean, there's different terminology for it. The Bluetooth device has been connected. How do you make your own internet? You have to pay for access to another provider and then feed it in, and then you provide the internet to other people. All an internet provider is literally taking a connection from another provider so that everything is interconnected. And then you sell that service. As my first cert with absolutely zero experience, I think I'll pursue the CCNA with an iPhone only. That sounds like a very, very painful prospect. Also, I did networking for years without a networking certification. I'm new here. Randomly came across your stuff. Do you get into much high level about what you do in your day-to-day for work? Curious if you have a specialty. I do at times. I don't get too into it because some of the details, of course, are a little bit more sensitive. But at the high level, I tell people things I'm doing. Like I was talking earlier about how I'm making a CrowdStrike Foundry module so I can do managed allow listing easier that a lot of our other tools have, so we can monitor data exfiltration a little bit better. And then that module in the CrowdStrike Foundry will be able to be used in Source, security orchestrated automated responses, as a block of data. so we don't have to recreate that pattern in many different workflows and monitor where it all has to go. Reddit mod versus using it as a resource is very different. Yeah. The other thing that you can tell when like somebody is a child basically is they'll go right to, you know, oh, you're bald. It's like, dude, congratulations, I have a mirror. I know that. I mean, if you stick my head in a bowling ball machine, it'll shine enough to go see your future, and you can use me in a psychic's office. But, any question, didn't you used to have an Etsy for 3D printed stuff? I did, and then life got too busy. But it did help me get through hard times in COVID and pay off some bills and stuff, so I'm thankful for that. Also got me in the news, because I did... There were a bunch of people that got upset that my COVID card holders didn't come with COVID cards. They actually thought that I was selling COVID cards, when I was very specific saying they're the card holders, and if you, and I was very clear in saying, if you make a purchase, and you think this is being sold as a card and not just a card holder, you will not get a refund. I at least had 100 customers do that. It's like, dude, you don't want to get the vaccine? All right, I'm gonna go get the vaccine. Just say it loud with your full fucking chest that you don't want to get the vaccine instead of going around lying. And for a bunch of the people out there that were trying to use religion as your argument for not getting a vaccine, and then buying these vaccine cards to say as a lie you were getting a vaccine, I'm pretty sure the Bible is against lying. So how are you justifying your religion saying you shouldn't get a vaccine by going against another thing the Bible also said not to do? But then again, this is the problem with a lot of people in religion. They pick and choose just to favor whatever their worldview is rather than just, you know, pull their head out of their ass. My Twitch feed must be behind because Guts is typing faster in the chat before it beeps on my TV. That's like people buying a photo of a PS5. Well, that was the funniest shit. So I've been told to eat another Twinkie, fatty. I'd say, yeah, I'm fat, and when they get a reaction, they didn't get the reaction they wanted. It drove them mad. Oh yeah, it was funny as shit. Especially when I roast chatters saying like, oh, I'm fat and I'm bald. Dude, come on. The yo mama jokes we had growing up were a lot more painful. Like, and then I would start going into yo mama jokes. Like, well, chatter, your mama's so fat that when she sit down in the classroom, you know, for the parent-teacher conference, she sits next to everybody. A lot of times someone else is picking and choosing for them, which is sad. Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, no. I didn't get the vaccine, but also because I became ineligible when I got COVID. Oof. See, I was one of the first round of people because I was considered an emergency, or what do they call it, a critical worker. But I was actually working in healthcare at the time. And I'm an asthmatic, so... front of the line! It was one of those things where work literally said, hey, COVID vaccine's coming down. You have to get it if you are going to, you know, continue working with these particular clients. And I literally just said, I was planning on getting it anyway, so where do I go? Essential workers. That's the term, yeah. This may be repetitive, but how do I build my study guide to have a better chance? Look at roadmap.sh. That website helps you with a little bit of an idea. It's not a solid, like, definitive way, but it gives you ideas for where you can springboard off of. I ran a question. How much do you make from your job? Right now, 142 a year. 142K. What is the deal with DHH and Omarchi? So we talked about this a little bit earlier. David Hennemeyer Hansen is the guy that was behind Ruby on Rails and I think like Basecamp and a few other technologies. From a tech side, pretty smart guy. But he's gone off the rails over the past few years if you actually look into things he's been saying. Like, this isn't like the typical, like, he's a little weird. Like, there's like, dude, this is a little bit concerning, some of the things you've said. To the point, like, when an AI is even saying, I refuse to translate that for you because it's promoting hate, hateful speech and behaviors, it kind of makes you go, huh. And if your argument is, well, the AI should just do what you're told, well, no, if you're using somebody's infrastructure, they have control how they want to do things. But anyway, roadmap.sh. But anyway, DHH, Omarchi is just basically a bunch of scripts for a wrapper around Arch Linux. And the issue with Omarchi isn't Omarchi itself, it's more so the controversial figure that is David Hennemeyer Hansen that is behind the project. That's the issue a lot of people have with it. And that's why it's so controversial. So, it's kind of been one of those things where everybody is like, it might look okay, but it's like, we don't really want to, like, support somebody that way. Thanks for answering Larry Vids. Also, do you see Intel ME as, do you think it's a backdoor? Backdoor? No. Technology I really hate that is implemented poorly? Yes. But a lot of the backdoor characteristics people are worried about with Intel ME have to actually be configured. That being said, even without it being configured to do the remote access and stuff like that corporations use for out-of-band management, it still could be exploited from vulnerabilities that get found, and they do patch as well. But I'm not a fan of Intel ME, but I'm not tinfoily enough to think that it's an intentional backdoor put in by the government that a lot of people seem to think that it is. It's not. I was ducking around and I found one called playit.gg. Anyone heard of it? I have not. Did you know another TikToker called Crypto the Llama? You guys are influences to using Linux. Yeah, I know Crypto the Llama. They've been busy for a while, but we grabbed drinks at DEF CON 32. We hung out. That was during the time I didn't use Instagram, so the photos aren't there, but I have photos with him on my phone. But understandably, I don't post pictures of other people without their permission, so don't expect those photos to come out. But he's a cool dude. Nice dude. We hung out. We actually knew each other from the early days of TikTok because we were two of the original professional tech creators. But yeah, Crypto the Llama's a cool dude. But yeah, he's been busy. I mean, he never showed his face when he used to post. Yeah, he also got burnt out because TikTok had such demands on him for his content, and the dude is genuinely smart and a nice guy, and he never wanted to, grow his content into a major following in the same way like I never did. he was just like me, where we just were like, hey, I'm making videos on this random shit that interests me. And other people were like, oh, that's cool. Do more shit. So it's kind of like how that happens. There's a big difference I've noticed over the years between the influencers that genuinely are interested in technology and happen to grow a following and community versus the people that are completely in it to just be an influencer. And I've been noticing there's more and more and more people that are making content just to become an influencer rather than to create community and grow knowledge and, you know, share in successes, which is unfortunate. But that's one of the reasons why I keep doing what I do, because I hope that I can at least be a positive influence on the people out there. And based on some of the interactions I've, you know, had with people at DEF CON that have told me, you know, I've helped them get into their career, I think I'm trending the right way. At least I'd like to think so. He had legit good videos, though. I miss those days. Yeah, it was a very great time. I think back in the days when I was starting out and Crypto the Llama was, you know, early on doing the things, like early COVID days, it was a special time because everyone, I think, genuinely had no interest whatsoever in being content creators. We were just like people all doing our thing that just happened to be trapped in the situation of the pandemic, and we all bonded and became friends and made this great community. And then I think what happened was, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to bring up old drama or anything, but some of the people that have been around since the old days kind of know who I'm talking about, but please don't mention any of it in chat. We don't need to bring up old drama, but in general, I think quite a few of the people let the popularity get to their heads. Even when they were not that popular in the mainstream. Like, I'm now at the point where collectively between all of my socials and everything, I maybe have 500,000 followers. Give or take. And I'm not foolish enough to think like, okay, yeah, that is a lot of people. Do not get me wrong. Like, 6 degrees of separation. That's a lot of people. But I also am realistic to know that ain't shit in terms of like popularity in the real world. But I think a lot of creators, because they're not so used to, you know, being in public spaces and all of this, get a little bit of a following and get it right to their heads. And there's also a good number of creators, and this is not unique to cybersecurity, that are not able to actually create and build things to bring positivity into the world, if you understand what I'm saying. But rather, they build by destroying others. And I think that's a problem. And look, you have a lot of content creators now that are coming into cybersecurity that are really just trying to document their journey in cybersecurity. Those people are great. I love seeing those journeys. I have no problem with those people. What I'm talking about are the people that have, like, they're new to cybersecurity, and they're trying to tell you how you're going to make it in cybersecurity when they barely made it in themselves, if anything. And you know how many of these cybersecurity creators also don't even work in cybersecurity and make themselves look good with boogeyman stories and all that. There was this one dude I remember. His username was like an onion address, like to make it look like a Tor address. Came up with the biggest bullshit boogeyman stories about the darknet. And hated when the professional, you know, side of IT and cyber was coming around, poking holes in his story, telling it, like, saying, like, dude, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just making shit up. And that was the early days of, like, there was a lot of BS advice and stuff. But anyway, back to my point is, you still in touch with Llama? I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, but I still got their phone number. I probably should hit them up and just be like, hey, what's up, bud? because, honestly, I haven't talked to them in a while. I'll make a note to try to hit them up tomorrow. I'm not going to do it on chat because I don't want to risk anybody seeing any PII, obviously, even with my screen protector. I stopped watching Network Chuck. I had my reasons. I lost faith in him. I've heard similar things. I'm not getting into it either. I will say that there were definitely there were some interesting discussions going on at DEF CON. That's all I'm gonna say. Nothing, it should be really be worried or anything. It's not, I'm not the gossip channel. It's not anything illegal, anything like that, or it's salacious or that. It's just, it's one of those, that's weird kind of things, where it's that's weird. Anyway, who cares? So it's not even worth really going into it. When you started showing up more and more, then you made tech videos and showed up more and more. Yeah. Yep, Kara, I know what you're talking about. I think you may have actually been in one of the chats revolving around certain things. But again, it's one of those situations of it's not worth bringing it up. It's not worth making a mountain out of a molehill. It's just a thing. You can agree to disagree and move on with your life, and nobody's going to care. My memory fuzzy. Maybe. The course he has is BS. Does Network Chuck have a course? Look, I don't honestly do any of the courses from influencers and stuff like that. Honestly, I've never really paid for courses outside of ham radio and B-sides and DEF CON workshops and trainings. What's your take on using distros like Parrot OS, Home, or Hacker OS General as a daily, and how do you know there aren't vulnerabilities left deliberately for CTF exercises? Well, Parrot OS is designed for you to actually daily it, unlike Kali. I actually have Parrot OS Security on one of my laptops that I use for security tools and daily tasks. It works fine for what I need. But how do you know there aren't vulnerabilities left delivered for CTF exercises? Well, it's open source, so they actually do get audited by the community. Are there versions that may have configurations for CTFs? Absolutely, but usually they're denoted. I stopped watching cybersecurity videos on TikTok because most of them are fake and lie about the money. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest problems. I am so tired. Let me put it this way. I used to expense energy at a bunch of these creators. I mean, some of y'all remember the videos that I used to rail on, the people with 90K in 90 days and all of that. It's not worth my energy anymore to call out any individuals and things like that, because it's a freaking whack-a-mole game. The best I can do is equip people with the knowledge and skills to be able to spot when you come across bullshit people in cybersecurity. And generally, one of the biggest indicators are the people that talk primarily about the money, about how to get a job in cybersecurity. They talk about the certs, but they never talk about anything technical in cybersecurity. They never teach you any concepts. They never talk about any news, any, educate us on something. Don't sell us bullshit. Explain what the CCNA abbreviation means in this. Certified Cisco Network Analyst, Administrator. It's a Cisco certification. That and the Network Plus are kind of seen as entry-level network certs, even though I have the Network Plus, but I got that this year as part of my WGU bachelor's. But I didn't have them for most of my career. Or the CCNA. Do you like the stats of Linux TikTok? I honestly don't watch TikToks that much anymore. For part of the reason, for what others explained here. So I am on a STEM TikTok that my feed is honestly a mixture of the weirdest combination. Funny humor, cooking, and then I've got a bunch of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern stuff. So, like, it'll mix up between, like, I get some Moroccan stuff, then I get Israeli stuff, then I also get, like, general Arab stuff. And then also, it's, like, Jewish. And then the cybersecurity stuff that I do happen to get is all bullshit for the most part, like we were talking about. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a few friends in the TikTok side of cybersecurity that do great, and I'm not calling them bullshit, but for some reason, TikTok is feeding me the bullshit creators, and I just don't want to get into drama with other people, and you might see me comment on some creators' posts, but I try to, like, tame the fire of bitchiness. Need to go eat, not eat all day. Peace. Go eat! Go eat, Kara! Do you remember the flyers crazy moms were handing out? Was like, do you see this icon in your child's lap? Shows Arch logo. Your child is a hacking. I don't remember that, but I remember the satanic panic and my mom, being the Jewish mom, having to, like, laugh at all these Christian moms freaking out that she was the mom that allowed her son to play Doom. I will never forget my mom saying, "What the hell are you guys worried about? My son's killing demons on Mars. I thought you guys would like this shit." What, is it because it's not Jesus, doing the actual killing? That was my mom. My mom was pretty chill. Before she got deep into, unfortunately, pills and all that stuff as part of her pain management and everything, unfortunate situation. I don't talk to her. It is what it is. But she was really cool. And, I remembered, like, for my 13-year-old bar mitzvah birthday, my mom was like, "All right, you're a man. Here's a subscription for Playboy. I will pay for it from 13 to 18 years old. After that, you're on your own." And my mom was even like, she knew the celebrities I had crushes on. And I'd be like, they were modeling in Victoria's Secret. I'm done with the magazine. My mom was a sexual education teacher. I should probably lead with that. She was very chill about these things. Although she was very adamant saying, "Look, I know you're going to use it, but wrap it because, by God, if you bring home a child, I'll be standing in the doorway with a coat hanger." True story. Recommended first IT job while pursuing the CCNA, top 3. I mean, you can do just about anything. I mean, you're talking to somebody that still doesn't have a CCNA and only got their Network Plus after getting their CISSP. You can get help desk, you can get retail IT positions, MSP positions. A lot of the entry-level positions, especially when it comes to smaller companies like MSPs and stuff like that, are more just getting in front of the right person, shaking hands, and coming in with the right attitude. I keep seeing those fake AI cybersecurity accounts. They keep lying. Oh, yeah. You see a bunch of that shit. I'll be honest. At least from what I've seen so far, Instagram is a little bit better than TikTok, but I will say you have a lot of showboaty people there too, where it's like, okay, you're showing a thing to look cool, but it's like, I'm not gonna nitpick, but it's like, I know you're just doing this and this and this and this, and you're not really doing as far as you think you are. Applies the Geek Squad. I mean, hey, we all gotta start somewhere. Everyone's had a shit job. Show me someone that has had an easy job coming into life, and I'll show you a Nepo baby. Then if not TikTok, where? Instagram for short form, YouTube for the general cybersecurity content, because people that actually know their shit, let me put it this way. Short form content is the worst because I see the average attention span of a lot of people in my content is about 12 to 17 seconds, so a lot of times you don't even listen to my full fucking idea, and I see a bunch of people that are like commenting on things where I'm like, dude, I literally answered that 20 seconds in, 30 seconds in, on a 60-second video. But the other issue with it is you have a lot of these people, because it's very easy to be fake for a few seconds. Most TikToks aren't even 15 seconds long. The only reason people ever start doing 60-second or longer TikToks, just so you're aware, is because TikTok monetizes at a minimum of 1 minute long. That's why you see all of my videos on TikTok are at least 1 minute long. So there's people literally going out there to try to grow clout to sell horses or whatever else bullshit they want. So it's pretty much easy. It's pretty easy to fake being a professional in a short. Like all the people that, you know, talk about how rich they are with money and everything like that. Do you know how cheap it is to rent a mansion and a Lamborghini for an afternoon or even an hour and just do a shoot with it? And a lot of people do that. Yeah, it does not cost that much money. That's why I tell people, like, if you want to show me someone who's actually successful in cybersecurity, or just in life in general, I tell people this. Never judge somebody's wealth by the car they drive. Judge it by the tires on their car. What do I mean by that? Poor rich people get Beamers, Mercedes, and all the expensive flashy cars because they want to look nice, but then they'll drive with bald-ass tires because they can't afford to maintain the car. You know, they'll get a nick, a ding, or something like that, and they won't maintain the car. You see it build up over time. A person who actually has money may not necessarily be driving the luxury brands. One of the wealthiest people I know drives a 1980s Jeep Wagoneer. Another one I know still drives their Honda Civic from when they were in college. I think it's like from the early 90s or something like that. But those cars are in pristine condition. Like, you could swear it just came off the lot. You know what I mean? Great tires, fully maintained. You pop the engine bay, it's clean, it's pristine, you know. But that's the honest truth. Jeep makes a good vehicle. There's a lot of vehicles that are great. Oh, absolutely. Like, I tell people, like, my next car, I think is going to get a Slate Auto. I'll be honest. It'll probably end up being a Slate Auto. But I am really wanting to get a Jeep Cherokee with an inline-6 engine, completely overhaul it. You know, like, make it, like, near factory mint new. Maybe throw a supercharger on it, because those inline-6 iron blocks, the blocks are solid and can last, and you know, if you're overhauling it, you may as well put in some better pistons and everything, some forged pistons. But yeah, like, I've been wanting to get one of those because I miss purely mechanical cars. I do. the Jeep stood up really well and they handle really great in the all seasons weather. Yeah, they definitely do. I drove 2 Jeeps. They were solid. I didn't like when Jeep started to electrify the transfer case. That mechanical transfer case was freaking mint. Because I had that fucker down to a science any Jeep I was in. I could flip in and out of 4 high like that. And it was great because you don't want to be in 4-wheel drive all the time, but you're on a slick road, you feel it kind of slicking out, and you could immediately pop neutral, pop 4 high, pop back and drive, as long as it's under 45, and you could pop in and out like that. Because then you would be like 4-wheel drive when you're going straight, then you need to turn, pop back into 2-wheel drive so your differentials can, be loose, and then you can turn, then pop back in. I miss that. Yeah. F Best Buy nowadays, they need people to... But yeah. Alright, well, it's getting a little late, guys. Thank you all for joining me. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on all my socials. The links are in bio for everyone if you don't see them in chat right now. I'm on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord, Matrix. The links are all in bio for everything. And thank you all for the community that's been helping and supporting me in the rebuild of the basement and everything. So I still got to replace and check out a bunch of hardware, but things are happening. So thank you all. Stick around for the raid if you're on Twitch. Love you all. And then I should be back Wednesday for the next stream. Happy hacking.